Hello. Oh, it's been a long time. I've been traveling. But this is Heavy Things Lightly, formerly known as Watar. Why are we talking about rabbits? I've had a lot of positive feedback recently that was a great name, and I'm sad that the name has gone away, but it has for good reasons. Andrew, who is our editor, and he's listening to this right now, he names the good reasons. So yell at him in your emails if you don't like Heavy Things Lightly. I quite like it. I've been traveling in Georgia doing lots of work with Tamadas, trying to train folks up in the project that will save the world. Forget the projects we're going to talk about on this podcast right now, episode 4. The project that will save the world, that is the Babylonian exploding nuclear bomb of love, is the Supra. The Georgian dinner that unites all of creation. The cosmic table. Check out Supra Dinner Society by Daniel Paternos and David Rhodes. But most of all, it's good to see you guys here. This is Heavy Things Lightly. This is Greg Gilbertson bringing us in. And this is our podcast. This happens to be episode 4. The road to hell is paved with good intentions / not on Heavy Things Lightly. Guys, I have an advertisement real quick. Gratitude Travel. Amy and Jamie in South Africa, our newest site, where we plan to place field workers any month now, really actually in the spring. They are wonderful. They will take you on travels that include travels, high-end hotels that end with a quick visit to places like our site in Mozambique, or our site in the Georgian Republic, or our site in Guatemala. Are we doing Guatemala, guys? Amy and Jamie are wonderful. They donate whole portions of what they make when they send people to First Things Foundation. They are our partner. We are a travel company, basically, now. I am taking people all the time, but they do it for us. And they're amazing. Amy and Jamie at Gratitude Travels, check them out. They are linked in our show notes. Guys, today we're talking a month here, the very end of September, a month before this incredible November 7th event, which is sold out, but there is a waiting list that could get you on. Definitely reach out. If you want to go see Jonathan Pajot, Jordan Hall, and a bunch of cool people sit on the beach and talk about life and hospitality and learn the art of the tamada, that's November 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Check it out online at www.first-things.org. One last thing. If you want to be a field worker, and you know you do, in other words, you want to challenge yourself to be more than who you already are. That sounds stupid because you can't really be more than, but you can refine and burn off some of the, let's just call it excess, the waste that may have accumulated around your beautiful soul. First Things Foundation, we need 2 guys for Africa and 2 more guys for Africa. I'm telling you, change your life. Change mine. Check us out. Guys, it's episode 4 of The Road to Hell is Paved with Good Intention. I've been trying to figure some stuff out in this podcast over the last month and a half. First, why does this aphorism set me off? Like, I get pissed when I hear it. My whole life, pissed. It's always been a saying that gave me the heebie-jeebies. And about 3 episodes ago, I decided to figure out why. Here's what I found out. The phrase really doesn't exist until the 1500s, which made sense to me. And then it only exists as a type of axiom within a burgeoning scientific world that is not informed by, really, Christianity. Maybe a little bit by some of the Reformed traditions. In other words, I'd just like to say this. That phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intent, that's not in the Bible. In fact, it's not even biblical, as in from the church. Second, I found out on this wild ride that this New World axiom is deeply indebted to the notion that if you really think things through, you can get things right, as in perfect. In the second episode, we saw that this was not how things worked before the Enlightenment. Pre-Enlightenment, old world people, well, they pretty much worked on the inshallah principle. Inshallah. If the gods will it. The whole point of life pre-enlightenment was, in fact, to have good intentions. Like, that was the whole point. The rest of it, the outcome wasn't really up to you. Christianity demanded that you aligned your will to God's. And so, people giving the homeless guy some cash wasn't about making sure you get it right, buddy. I don't want to condemn that guy to alcoholism. Right? You're not supposed to understand and see all the pitfalls of your actions. Right? And paving that guy's road to hell by giving him some dough, that's not a thing. Doesn't even make sense. No, giving to the man in need was in alignment with God's will, and the rest, it wasn't up to you. And I would go so far as to say it's still not. Right? In that way, we saw that the road to hell could never be paved with good intentions. It's impossible. At least if you're an old world Christian. In the third episode, we looked at the implications of this new world axiom, where good intentions could pave the road to hell. And we looked at how avoiding hell meant, first and foremost, thinking stuff through. Getting all the ones and zeros just right. The jots and tittles just right. I said tittles. I chose to say tittles. We had some fun and looked at all of history's most expensive building projects. And we found out that the old world scientists who set out to control the world, the old world is usually started by building something for their god. In the new world, we didn't see this. Nope. The biggest projects, the doozies, the most expensive building projects in the history of the world, CERN, NASA, the Copernicus project, that's the one that aims to monitor the world for health, like the whole world. It monitors the world for health. I don't even... Does it sound... Say it out loud and then do you feel weird? The Copernicus project monitors the world to see if it's healthy. What? I don't get it. Like, oh, look, the tongue on the world is red. A little dehydrated. The whole thing is moronic. But anyway... The Copernicus project, CERN, NASA, all of these Babylon-style projects, they all started with the notion, and they continue to be built on the notion that learning stuff, no matter how much it costs, or what kind of crazy stuff you mess with, like, I don't know, atomic stuff, like the building blocks of the material universe, no matter what you do, learning stuff is good. Learning for the sake of learning is what you're supposed to do in the new world. And so these cats go all the way. But just to show you that I'm not crazy, okay, here's a CERN scientist in his own words and in video that we're going to look at right now together. He's telling you what CERN does, just so you can not have to believe me. Want to do it? I'll do it with you.
So what does CERN do? Well, it's a machine. It's the most complicated machine ever built by many measures, and its job is to explore the universe because we're interested in how the universe works. This machine accelerates protons, so the nuclei of hydrogen, to 99.999999% the speed of light. It accelerates them around. When they're going at full speed, they travel around that ring 11,000 times a second. There
Amazing.
are two beams of them, one going one way, one going the other way. They're compressed into something which is the diameter of a human hair.
Amazing.
They're crossed, and in those collisions, in every proton-proton collision that's generated there, up to 600 million every second, by the way, we recreate the conditions that were present less than a billionth of a second after the universe began. Why do we do that? Purely because we want to know how the universe works. So a tremendous engineering achievement. I could say, actually, this whole thing runs at a temperature less than minus 271 degrees Celsius, which is 1.9 degrees above absolute zero, which is colder than the universe.
With precision. So there you go. That's CERN, just colliding stuff and then going, why? And then they say, because we want to figure out exactly how the universe works. You're going to find out in a minute that's not true. They want to find out some other stuff. They're just curious little rabbits. Just curious little people. Just doing stuff underground. Yeah. I know, I sound CERN angry. It's just like NASA to me, though. I can't stand it just, human beings are right here next to you. You know, they need is just nice conversation with a cup of coffee. It is almost better than a collider. Wait, almost. It's just so much better than a collider. You just sit down and you share your most deepest vulnerability with a human being and they heal. And you don't have to do a whole atomic bomb explosion and then wonder what happened to their mother because she was incinerated. You can just heal people with, love. So this is today's episode. There's an answer to that guy who's saying, just want to find out some stuff. What does it mean when a society embraces the idea that the point of living is just getting a curiosity fix? What happens when the point of life is the acquisition of knowledge? What happens when the good looks just like Eve and Adam chewing on an apple from the tree of knowledge? The short answer is CERN happens. And Apple happens. And NASA happens. And a whole industry that at its core uses the CERN model and the CERN mission statement as a way to make sense of the world happens. You see, all these cats are using this conception that life is for learning, period, to create a coherent worldview that, wait for it, binds the world together into meaning. And so, thereby, they practice a religion, a binding set of worship practices that serve their God, the God of just learn stuff. If you say it real fast, just learn stuff. It's the God of just learn stuff. Here's CERN's mission statement is brought to you by their CEO and number one smart guy, Fabio Giannotti. Fabio or Fabiola Giannotti, the Director General of CERN. CERN is a massive, 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 massive black hole of learning and scientific knowledge. And here's what the Director General says about their project. Nobody knows where fundamental research will lead. Nah. 95% of the universe is still unknown. We are all driven by a shared passion for knowledge. He's not done. We are still staggeringly ignorant about almost everything in the universe. And we at CERN, we're going to change that. It's a grandiose undertaking that not only sheds light on the esoteric world of particle physics, but also it sheds light on our very purpose and the meaning of progress in this world. Guys, nobody knows where fundamental research will lead. Why is the godfather of CERN doing this? Why is he saying... Fabio is telling us that you can get to the why, the purpose of things, by doing lots of how. This is an Enlightenment move. This is a new world man move. It's an Enlightenment move. It's a type of go-to move for those who think science has the answers to existence. No good scientist thinks this. No true scientist thinks that they can answer why things exist. The key word is why. If you know a doctor or a researcher or anyone who thinks of themselves as a scientist and they say things like, we're finding out why things exist, yada, 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 run, bro, run. Science can tell us a lot of stuff about stuff, but science cannot tell you why about stuff. Why is there a zebra? I'm not going to ask science. How does a zebra run? Let's ask a scientist. Tell me about the ligaments. Why does a zebra run? I don't know. I'm a scientist. I don't have the answer to that. I don't do why, bro. I digress, but I'm telling you, I'm not wrong. Let's go back for a second, shall we? I know you're thinking it's almost over, right? It's not. Well, yeah, it is. I got one more video. Guys, the signs behind me, I just want you to know they hold a special meaning. One day I'm going to share it with you. For people who are still watching this podcast, I love you. I think I've never shared what the signs, right? The voice of Japan #4, deep meaning in that. Mr. Who You, can you see it? Deep meaning. Not today, though. It's a secret today. Okay, let's go back for a second. You guys remember Physics Girl? She's an internet video pal of mine now. I count her as a friend. She doesn't know me. I've just been using her video for like 6 weeks. Gosh, I'm slow. Okay, she took a pilgrimage to CERN. She's in search of the stuff called dark matter or antimatter, which apparently makes up most of the universe, which is convenient. The thing that makes up most of the universe no one knows about. All right. That sounds mystical. Don't say mystical. It makes you sound religious, dude. Anyway, while she went to CERN, this leader of more than 3 million internet followers, yes, that's right. I'm just jealous. 3 million? I could fund all the first things with just $1 from each of you. Let's get our followers up a little bit. Let's do it. All right. Here's Physics Girl. Well, she sounds a lot like Fabio. You ready?
To our question, why is there so little antimatter in the universe? We don't know yet. That's why all these really, really smart people are doing crazy experiments trying to figure it out at CERN. And I'm really excited to follow along and see
and here's
what
the
they
key,
find.
because I know
they'll find something.
I know they'll find something. So Physics Girl and Fabiola and these characters, they're just curious characters because they know they're going to find something. And when they do, what I want you guys to know is there's going to be a lot of people that come along and clean up whatever they find in the form of a program that CERN calls CERN KT, CERN Knowledge Transfer Kit. That's right. Here's what CERN Knowledge Transfer is from their own brochure called Technologies That Change Your Lives. Now remember, they're not really sure why they're going to find what they're going to find. They're not sure why they're going to find it. Spending a lot of money to do some stuff. And here's one reason they're doing it. Reaching ambitious scientific objectives requires the development of advanced instruments and new technologies. This is from their pamphlet, Technologies That Change Lives. Change your life. These technologies and human expertise associated with them often have potential applications in the areas beyond high energy physics. That's right. As an integral part of its mission, you ready? CERN, this giant government body in Europe, strives to ensure that its innovations bring practical benefits to society as a whole. We call this knowledge transfer. So when you read the brochure, you see that CERN is very proud of the technologies they've sold to various very large companies around the world. Somehow I saw this coming. There's the CERN Medisys device that, quote, is a one-of-a-kind infrastructure designed to produce a new generation of non-conventional radioisotopes. Of course. And here we go. With the potential applications in precision medicine and therapeutics. Sold that bad boy off. Oh, there's the Mars bioimaging device. That takes 3D pictures of broken bones and all kinds of stuff. Mars Bioimaging Company got a hold of some of that and now sell it. And in the brochure, there's other such devices mostly designed to help people who are sick. I think the brochure itself outlines 8 products, including a weird device that can keep paper from deteriorating. I didn't make that up. And another machine that can detect if art is authentic. They image the art and, oh, look, this is the real art. Yeah, That company's called Metapix. Thanks, Metapix. Thanks, CERN. Such nice products, but there's a few people out there on the interwebs that think CERN doesn't do such nice things all the time. For instance, CERN appears to have, let's say, upgraded a little bit the old drone industry. Terabee, a company, seems to have gotten drones to be really good at dropping stuff right where it's supposed to get dropped. You know, not just things like your little order from Amazon, your little toothbrush set that kind of got dropped on your front porch. Thinking more like, I don't know, like explosive devices drop right into your face. Stuff like that. They seem to be getting really good at that. Then there's the curious case of the cosmic ray gun technology, or DEWs, directed energy weapons. Seems that CERN and a number of companies are probably already have a whole bunch of this stuff, by the way. But the Defense One magazine, a military tech magazine, says that there are directed energy that is way more than just big lasers. They're high-powered microwave approaches that can affect a proper kill. All right. Thanks, CERN. Yeah. High energy lasers, millimeter wave weapons, microwave weapons. If you go and try and find this kind of weaponry, by the way, if you try to research this on the interwebs, you know, like what other kind of technologies is CERN producing that might have some nefarious uses? The first thing you notice is that CERN and Google have done a very good job of making a page after page after page of your search really CERN friendly. As in, again and again, searches tell you CERN does not do military research, ever. Nothing to see here. But if you believe that, if you think that the world's most expensive particle research center isn't going to be a partner with the world's biggest weapon corporations, I don't know. You should wake up. And if you're still sleeping, here's a fact that'll help you wake up. At the beginning of the Russian-Ukraine war, that very week, CERN fired 60 Russian scientists they had, well, employed in good standing for many years. Bye-bye, Russians. I'm sure that had nothing to do with military-grade research going on. Just wanted to get rid of those Russians because they were really in deep on those X-ray machines that saved lives. Can't have them be doing any of that. Also, that's funny. Russians are fired. No military research being done here. Here's another cool CERN factoid that will help you understand CERN, if you're wondering about it. The god of destruction herself, the actual god of destruction, who doubles as the god of creation in the Vedantic religions, also known as Hinduism, that god Shiva stands as a statue in front of, you guessed it, CERN. Like right in front of the facility, a giant statue of Shiva, the god of destruction. I'm sure it's just coincidence, like the apple. Just a bite out of the apple. When you go and research, by the way, the bite out of the apple, they just say it's just a thing. He was just trying to, old Rob Janoff, the designer, was just trying to add some, what did he call it as a designer? He wanted to add scale so you could tell it was an apple and not a cherry. The apple, biting it, Eve, Adam. There's nothing that, fine. You can call me conspiracy theorist. In fact, go for it. I just told you facts. Shiva is standing there. The Russians got fired. And there's nothing military going on at the largest scientific research facility in the world that's jamming things together at light speed. Just to finish this chapter and to finish this podcast, I'm having fun. I'm not angry. If I sound angry, it's because CERN and NASA, they go together in my world, and I don't like it. They just seem like such a waste, / nefarious. And I'm not even talking about the people or what they're doing. I don't even care if they've got some bomb under. I don't even care if they're going to. Who cares? God knows what's going to happen. They're going to create a black hole. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about attentiveness. Why are they so inattentive to humans and so attentive to numbers, ones and zeros? Ugh, it's so tiring. Anyway, now CERN says when it comes to these theories of fear, not to worry. They say here right on their website, we focus on fundamental research. CERN's primary goal is to understand the universe at its most basic level, buddy. We do not develop military applications. See? They told you so. International collaboration, that's what we're about. They say, point 2, CERN is a collaborative effort between many nations, making it difficult to divert research toward solely military applications. See? And there's strict regulations. Research at CERN is subject to international oversight. Duh. I mean, they've got, as it says right here, quote, safety protocols. There's nothing's going to kill anybody at CERN. It's going to save lives, buddy. CERN collaborated with NASA. That's all you got to know, man. You know what they did? To research the effects of this April's solar eclipse. You know what they found out? Yeah, either does anybody, because they won't tell you. I'll just end by telling you this, okay? If you have a chocolate moon pie, have you ever been affiliated with a chocolate moon pie? Has that ever happened to you? Have you eaten one? Have you ever purchased one? If you put it out in the sun for even a second, it starts to melt. But put the chocolate moon pie out in the sun on top of an anthill and watch what happens. Yeah, the moon pie sits on top of the anthill, and then watch what happens. A world of activity is born. That's what happens. It's all wild ant activity because you've created yummy, delicious treats for ants to take back and turn into energy. That's what CERN is for the development of consumer goods. And they tell you this. They have something called the CERN Open Lab. It's a unique public-private partnership that works to accelerate the development of cutting-edge solutions for worldwide Large Hadron Collider communities and wider scientific research. Through Open Lab, we facilitate products into conjunction with companies and research institutes. Some of those research institutes, would you like to know about them? Here are their favorites: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, the NIH. That's right, Mr. Fauci's little playground. Oh, the U.S. Department of Health, the American Institutes for Research. All of these wonderful organizations, well, they get together with, here's another list from CERN: Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Novartis, Roche Diagnostics, Merck, Novo Nordisk, AstraZeneca, Bristol Myers Squibb. These companies all feed like those ants on that moon pie and just chomp a delicious, delicious profit margin when CERN starts handing out its scientific discoveries. Wow, how does all this tie in, you might ask? When will it be over, John? Well, it's getting close. I'd like to end this way, if I could. My little 4-episode CERN Fest isn't really about CERN at all. Well, okay, it's a little bit about CERN. But if you look closely, and I'm sorry to make you look this closely, but I have to, the whole conversation is a way of seeing the world found in the phrase, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." That phrase is a lie. If you are good and you have good intentions, you will not pave the road to hell. You may be happy and unrewarded in this fallen world, but you will do the opposite of pave a road to hell. You will open a true portal to heaven. The portals being opened by CERN and NASA using particles and space vehicles, well, none of those openings have telos. They're dark, scary, pointless places. They are pointed toward themselves for the sake of themselves. Curiosity is not a virtue. It's something that happens in the human heart, like a lot of other stuff. Modern humans who think that good intentions open up portals to hell have literally gotten lost. They've literally forgotten that outcomes in this world are not their purview. We are not in charge of outcomes. Creatures don't control outcomes. That's for the Creator. All we can do is point and align our will towards something good and along something beautiful, and that is the best we can do. Now, this act of aligning yourself may or may not end in your hopes and dreams being fulfilled, but I can tell you one thing: it will result in a type of being, a type of human being, a character that resembles reality. And that reality resembles the face of God himself. So go ahead, do good, fear not. You can't figure it all out. Leave that to CERN and all the hubristic scientists of the New World. Just do good. Peace. Don't forget to support us. These podcasts are free. They're free to you and me. There's a voice will change. Wrong song. I love you guys. Keep tuning in. I'm back. I'm trying to do some stuff. Got invited to some great Supras around the country, and I hope to see you at one of them, including coming up in November. Maybe even down in Savannah if you're going to the Giddy Up gig next week. Who loves you? Peace out. This is a long episode of Heavy Things Lightly.